The poet Maggie Smith writes, "We talk so much of light. Please, let me speak on behalf of the good dark. Let us talk more of how dark the beginning of the day is." So I was in my mid-20s when I realized that I needed a change. I was at the time far along on the course to becoming a modern Orthodox rabbi and educator when I reached a tipping point in my life. It became clear to me that I needed to adjust my course. I would need to make some fundamental changes in order to realign my life with my evolving understanding of who I was meant to become. And stepping away from the track I was on was terrifying. The changes entailed significant loss. I left behind not only my professional training, but the entire spiritual and communal framework of the Orthodox community to which I had belonged my entire life, and also my relationship with God as I had known it. I moved forward into the unknown, shaking, humbled, exhilarated, ready to come face to face with mystery. And in that time, I visited a variety of Jewish communities and would come to teach and lead prayer in Jewish communities of every movement. And I was searching for where I could belong, where I could feel most alive and best share my gifts. I read Eastern philosophy and practiced meditation. I did karaoke and played a lot of video games. I also explored a wide range of intentional communal gatherings beyond Judaism, mostly centered around music. And one of them that left a profound impression on me and my spiritual path was the ritual space called the Dance of Liberation. So this bi-monthly dance was led by a Jerusalem-born dancer and educator, Parashakti Sigalit Bat Chaim. It was held in a large yoga studio in Soho in downtown Manhattan. And as participants arrived, they were led to sit one-on-one with a trained facilitator to set intentions for the dance. And before entering the main studio, all participants were blindfolded. In the center of the room was a group of percussionists, and over the course of the next hour and a half, the dance was propelled by the global rhythms of live drummers and supervised by facilitators dispersed around the room. So the first time I joined the dance as a participant, I did not know what to expect. The experience was so beyond my comfort zone and familiarity. It was scary. I felt very awkward to move my body in space without the comforting affirmation of the sensory input of my eyes. Even though I knew my fellow dancers were also blindfolded, it took a while to leave behind a feeling of self-consciousness and even embarrassment. But soon enough, I was able to let go, to surrender to the freedom that the blindfold afforded me, and I gave myself over to dancing in the dark. Not the Bruce Springsteen hit single, but the music was equally exhilarating. But moving with intention, in time with the groove of the trance-inducing beats, transported me out of my thinking mind. I experienced my body in space in a new way, and I experienced a spaciousness within as well. I felt the support of the ground beneath me and the stirrings of my soul, a longing in my heart beyond words. The dance helped me refocus on the richness of my inner world and to listen anew to the yearnings of my soul. Looking back, I see that seeds of new beginnings were nurtured in the darkness of those gatherings. This Rosh Hashanah morning, I want to speak on behalf of the good dark. Jewish tradition teaches that new beginnings emerge from darkness. The new day begins with nightfall. The lunar month starts with when The new moon is hardly a sliver in the sky, and the nights are dark as pitch. The Hebrew name for month, Chodesh, is synonymous with renewal. We mark our new years from darkness as well. Unlike the pilgrimages of Pesach and Sukkot that we celebrate under the glowing new moon, full moon, or on Shavuot under the waxing quarter moon, Rosh Hashanah is the lone festival in the Torah that is celebrated with a new moon, and the absence of the moon's light is, in fact, a defining feature of this day. Last night, at the heart of our Rosh Hashanah evening service, we recited a verse from the Psalms to introduce this holy day. Tikeu b'chodesh shofar b'keseh liyom chagenu. Sound the shofar, the verse reads, b'chodesh, with the new moon, at the moment of renewal, b'keseh liyom chagenu, on our festival whose appointed time is defined by keseh, covering, hiddenness. The potential for renewal on this day is a function of standing with the divine in mystery. In our Jewish tradition, today marks the anniversary of the culmination of creation with the formation of the first humans. We celebrate this sacred day of the birth of humanity, and we reconnect to the ever-present potential for rebirth. Rosh Hashanah calls us to realign with our true purpose and the potential for growth and fulfillment in the months to come. So often, we get distracted and stuck in the circumstances of our lives. On this day, on the cusp of a new year, we are given permission to release assumptions of who we think we ought to be or what we need to do, and to step into the unknown. So often we see darkness as something to avoid, something that is just an emptiness, a lacking, a space to move out of as quickly as possible. On this day, we are invited to hang out in the mystery, to dance in the darkness. As the activist Valerie Carr taught, maybe this is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb. This year, I found solace in the writings of Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen. She's an innovative medical educator who teaches med students about resiliency and relationship-centered care. And one of the books she authored is called The Will to Live and Other Mysteries. It's rooted in her experiences with cases that defy medical knowledge and conventional scientific understanding, as well as her own embodied experience living with severe chronic illness. Most of us, she writes, are not comfortable with mystery. Our culture does not help us to cultivate a sense of wonder in the mystery and the unknown. Our culture is into mastery, not mystery. Dr. Remen describes how, as a young doctor, she was trained to view the unknown as an emergency, like a hemorrhage, something out of control that requires immediate action. She learned that the need to make the unknown known as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. Mastery, she writes, with a capital M, is something that by its very nature cannot be fully known or understood. Mystery does not require action. Mystery requires attention. Mystery is never solved. It is only lived. Dr. Remen teaches that mystery has great power. It transforms us. It comforts us. It even heals us. She reflects on witnessing many people with life-threatening illness as they faced death. In that confrontation with the unknown, she reflects, I've watched individuals recover from a sense of numbness and cynicism. I've watched them become truly alive. It's almost as if they have remembered that life is holy, that to live is a blessing. These holy days call us to face the limits of our control, to surrender, to release the need for mastery, and to live into mystery. And there, within the mystery, we find the possibility of reconnection with wonder, with our aliveness, and the possibility of renewal. Tikeu b'chodesh shofar b'kesel liyom chagenu. Sound the shofar on this festival of the good dark, of mystery, of beginning again. Today we are called to choose life. And the first step is to let the year that was pass away. We accept the gifts that it has offered, the seeds it germinated, with gratitude, and then we let it go so that a new year can be born, along with the blessings it carries. For me, this past year was definitely not what I expected or planned for. I spent most of it recovering from a brain injury sustained almost exactly a year ago. As part of my recovery, I had to adjust to new sensitivities to sound and light. You've probably seen me wearing my sunglasses indoors at some point. I spent a lot of time this year basically sitting in the dark. I was frustrated when what happened in my body was out of my control. I felt deeply impatient when my recovery was not progressing as fast as I would have wanted. But with a wonderful care team, including doctors and therapists, my own rabbis and mentors, they helped me to meet my body and mind with grace for where I was. And I'm thankful to Rabbi Annie, to our staff team, our board leadership, and our entire community for your support as well, as we all navigated the unknowns of my journey toward healing. It was a disorienting time, but in those moments when I was able to relinquish my expectations for what I thought I was meant to do or how my body should have functioned, in those moments, I was able to turn toward the mystery and ask, where is the divine in all this? And then to truly listen with curiosity and attention. And there in the mystery, in those fleeting moments, I found that I stood on sacred ground. Amidst the pain and the challenge of the unknown, I found life waiting for me. Now, this year of rehabilitation and limitation became for me a powerful invitation to consider how I want to live in alignment with my values and priorities, and to sit with the inner wisdom that I discerned in that dark time. Mystery requires us to listen. And if we listen, it will offer us the wisdom to live. Mystery requires us to listen. And if we listen, it will offer us the wisdom to live. Stepping into the mystery attunes us to the call of the still small voice within, the speechless cry that emerges from the depths of the depths within us. Staring over the edge into the dark deep within, we can begin to find the residual essence of the undying, undeniable, irreducible strength of hope that emerges from within our almost solitude, that allows us to cry out and attach ourselves to the ever-present source of life, to see the newness that is inherent in every single moment. In the cover of the good dark of the new year, We reconnect to the aliveness that surrounds and fills us with the one who is constantly renewing creation in goodness. We can reattune to a deep longing of our souls to live. Each of us has a unique purpose in this world for which we were born into this life in this very moment in time. We each possess an inner voice, the voice of our highest self, of our souls, that is calling out to us to live our highest purpose. And deep down, we know what we need to be fully alive, in alignment with our purpose, if only we will listen. Rabbi Avraham Yitzchak HaKohen Kook teaches that our souls are constantly in prayer, constantly turning toward and calling to their beloved source. And the work of Jewish spiritual practice, that is the particular focus today, is to make space around ourselves and within to hear and then give voice to that inner prayer, to our inner longing for aliveness. The primary vehicle for this on Rosh Hashanah is the sounding of the shofar. The shofar's call can be described as the call of life longing for itself, to paraphrase Khalil Gibran. The reverberations of the wordless cry awakens our souls like the sympathetic resonance of an instrument's strings vibrating with the tones of a nearby fellow instrument. Today, though, on Shabbat, we do not sound the shofar, but its call is felt in its absence. Today, we invoke its memory, zichron teruah. We attune our senses to feel the material promise of a primal cry that is not yet heard. A silent fullness, one that the author Lawrence Kramer calls the hum of the world, a near sound of life in motion, ebbing and flowing. The pregnant silence anticipates tomorrow's shofar blasts. It connects us to the future potentiality of the nascent new year. There is so much that is beyond what we can know or control, but we can choose again and again to listen for the calling, to give voice to our deepest yearnings, and dare to live in alignment with our purpose in this world each and every day. How can we make spaces in our lives to listen for the still small voice within? Rosh Hashanah asks us to ask ourselves how we want to live our precious days. To ask what will make us feel fully alive. And all it takes is a small opening. As Bruce Springsteen reminds us, you can't start a fire without a spark. And if the answer is not yet clear, all the better. The holy mystery is waiting to carry you as you begin again. L'chaim, to a year of more life. In just a moment, we will begin the Musaf. But first, we are going to hear some words of welcome and announcement from our synagogue president, Brian Abraham.